There's an idea in music called parallel harmony, where you take at least two simultaneous notes and you transpose them by moving each note the same number of semitones in the same direction. For example, if we take this C minor 7 chord and we copy it by pressing Command D, and then we shift it up one semitone, all of a sudden we have some parallel harmony going. And it certainly doesn't have to be by one semitone either. You could do it by any number of semitones as long as they're all the same. Kind of sounds like Mario Kart or something. In the context of sampling though, this is really easy to come across because when we take a sample or a little snippet of one chord from a song and then we transpose it up and down by a number of semitones, all of a sudden we're making use of parallel harmony. That particular sampling technique is most commonly associated with house music, but it doesn't have to end there. To make use of this, we can either trigger a bunch of different MIDI notes at the same time, also known as a chord, or we can sample and chop up a record, and you know I'm gonna choose the latter for today. It just sounds more housey, more saucy, more It'll also help you get started faster. For a sampling source, I recommend that you pick something with a lot of colorful and isolated chords, you know, something like a jazz pianist like Bill Evans or George Shearing or Ahmad Jamal, for example. Today I'm chopping up a record called I'll Never Stop Loving You, because I'll never stop loving you. That's why. So to get started, all I'm gonna do is press Command-Shift-T and then drag this audio clip onto the new track, which creates a sampler for us so we can start sampling. So since this is solo piano chords, you can literally drag the start flag and the end flag to any of these transients and just find something that you like. Now, when you're using this technique, I recommend using one-shot mode so that when you trigger a key, it plays through the whole sample. And if we zoom in a little bit and we pick any of these, we can start playing it on different keys. And what I recommend you do is make it a bit more plucky by fading out the sample in your sampler of choice. The next thing I like to do is get just a little drum groove going. So I picked up a little break beat, which sounds like this. So this is the fun part where we just kind of start triggering the parallel harmony and playing it on different keys, but you know, we're doing it over a hip hop beat instead of a 4 on the floor kind of housey beat. So let's see what we can come up with here using some of these chords that I've isolated in different samplers. So here's one of them. When you first map out this chord on your keyboard, it sounds a bit odd, I'm not gonna lie, but there's a couple of tricks that you can use to make it sound better. And the first one that I want to go over is using notes that are 5, 7, or 12 semitones from where your root note is, just as a basis for where you can start. This means that you're making use of fourths, fifths, and octaves when you are using these chords, which usually sound pretty good together. C, that's the chord on F, this is the chord on G, and that's the chord an octave above on the next C. Let's play around and see if we can use the fourths and fifths to come up with, you know, some chords that might sound cool. Let's see. Now that actually is pretty housey. You know, we could even add some bass to that, of course, right? You know, just to give you a little different flavor. Okay, the next tip that I have for you is that chromatic increments are your friend. So chromatic meaning moving one semitone at a time from the previous note. So just start with a note, move around to its neighbors, say hi to everybody. So if I want to do something like that, you know, we gotta add the bass too, right? The third tip that I want to share with you is something I like to call wrong right. This type of sampling, will lead you down some pretty wild harmonic paths, so I recommend that you just go with the flow. And even if it doesn't make sense to you in a music theory context, and it sounds cool to your ears, that's good enough to just keep exploring, right? And if you listen to a lot of house music, they use a lot of interesting intervals with parallel harmony. This is a perfect opportunity to live in that gray area and break the rules a little bit. Something simple like that, right? So now let's just have some fun and just come up with one more idea. I'm feeling this, and this is not going to be directed towards any specific tip, but let's just see what we can come up with here. Right? What's something that you guys have taken from one genre and then applied to another genre? Let me know down in the comments below what it is so we can try it out. If you guys did enjoy this video, there's a lot more like it on this channel, so please do subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. And all the best to you, my friend. Happy music making, and we'll see you in the next video.